Today we're going to visit with Fisheries Supervisor Todd Kaspers. Todd manages the Devil's Lake Complex and the Red River. I'm Mike Anderson with the North Dakota Game and Fish Department. Anglers want to know how fish populations are doing. Let's start with Devil's Lake first. How are walleyes doing in Devil's Lake?
Oh, walleyes are doing fairly well still. I mean, anglers will probably notice still that there's kind of fewer of those like 15 to 20 inch size walleyes out there, just because we had lower reproduction from 2013 to 2015, all those 3 years in a row, which isn't normal on Devil's Lake, but that's the reason there's fewer of those kind of nice prime size keepers right now. But we have a fair amount of those smaller fish because we had decent reproduction all the years after 2015, and about average numbers of those 20 plus inch fish still.
Okay, and pike populations?
Pike are probably down somewhat from what they were on Devil's Lake, we think. At times they were, maybe even a little bit higher than we'd like to see, but there'll still be pike for anglers to catch out there, I think.
Okay, and white bass in Devil's Lake are always a target for anglers?
Yeah, they're kind of a secondary game fish out there, but in terms of the white bass, it's the good old days are right now on Devil's Lake. We had a strong hatch in 2015, and those fish have gotten pretty good size now that they've had some time to grow.
Okay, touch on fish populations in Stump and Lake Irvine.
Stump Lake is doing pretty well for walleyes. There's a variety of sizes of walleyes out there, and a fair amount of perch too, although they tend to be a little on the smaller side right now, I think. Pike are not real abundant in Stump, but there's still pike out there for anglers to chase if they want pike.
And Lake Irvine?
Irvine is kind of similar to Stump. There's a variety of walleye sizes out there for anglers to go after. And the pike on Lake Irvine are usually running good sized keeper fish, just like on the rest of the system too. Perch and white bass are not really very abundant on Lake Irvine.
Okay, what do you anticipate to be the biggest challenge up in the Devil's Lake complex here in the next few years?
It's probably just going to be kind of water levels for the most part. For a lot of years we had a rising lake situation, whereas since about 2011, 2012, we've kind of been more on that downward trend. That kind of impacts the fish population just because when you're tend to be rising, you get kind of like a new reservoir effect where you get increased productivity and that ends up giving you more fish. But when we're on the way down, that effect is kind of wearing off.
Other than your routine netting surveys and fisheries work this spring, summer, anything else going on in the Devil's Lake area?
We probably would have a creel survey coming up in probably the summer of 2022 and 2023. Although if we're doing the Red River creel survey at that time, we may decide to push the Devil's Lake one back another year.
Todd, you also manage the Red River. How are fish populations in the Red River?
Oh, fish populations should be pretty good on the Red River still. I mean, kind of the channel catfish is your bread and butter fish on the Red River. That's what most anglers are probably pursuing out there. And that's one of the best channel catfish populations in North America for sure. I mean, you have good trophy potential. You could always, catch a 20-pound catfish on the Red River. But there's also a good amount of those smaller, keeper type catfish in the Red River too, especially in the upstream areas. And there's also walleye and sauger populations, and people catch trophy walleyes every year on the Red too.
Okay, any challenges on the Red River?
The Red River is the same as most other places. It's water levels are what's could be concerning in the future if we are entering a drought cycle or something like that. In the summertime, in the past, water levels got low, and in the summertime the water gets hot, and then you don't have much oxygen at that time either, and it can be stressful on the fish populations.
The North Dakota Game and Fish co-manages the Red River with Minnesota DNR. Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, that's correct. We work with the Minnesota DNR as well as Manitoba and South Dakota a little bit too. Just all the entities that are involved in the Red River in this area. And that basically entails we kind of trade off responsibilities on doing creel surveys, but Minnesota usually handles the fish population surveys.
A lot of great information, Todd. Thank you.
Thank you.